And so you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting or whatever you would like.
You'll have your reports later, I believe?
Yes.
Oh,
On the agenda.
unless you have a report today. You do?
Oh,
Oh,
that's good.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have it
We will
scheduled
not
for our
adjourn.
regular meeting, though? Is
Yeah,
that-
Yes.
it is. It's
like-
during
Oh,
the
it's
regular.
during this meeting, but it's right
pretty
at
far
the
down the
beginning.
list.
So we'll declare this meeting adjourned, and I will go ahead and just call our regular board meeting to order, and then we'll call you up in just a couple of minutes. And so you could sit
Go ahead and
right
have
here on the front row, and then you'll be right back up in just a minute. Oh, thank you. So I hereby call this meeting to order. I would like to thank tonight's presenters and everyone joining us in person and via live stream. Thank you for being here. And Brenda Miner will lead us in the pledge.
Stand. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. There are a few addendum materials on the following topic: written comment, student enrollment report, awards and recognitions, communications and community relations, enrollment and district attendance areas committee update. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the addenda. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda with the addendum.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passed. We'll now move to public and written comment. Written comment was received and is included in the meeting material online. Remember, as a reminder, the public can only comment on items listed on the agenda. We will now accept public comment, but there has been no request for public comment, so we will move on to the approval of minutes. I would entertain a motion to approve the September board meeting minutes as presented. Is there a motion?
I hereby move that the board approve the following minutes as presented.
I'll
Bo-
second.
All of them.
Yeah, the board work session, the executive session, the special meeting, and the regular board meeting.
Perfect. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passed. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which includes authorizing the payment of claims, approving the supplemental financial data, and approving out-of-state overnight travel requests as presented. Is there a motion?
I move that we go ahead and approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passed. Next on the agenda are the self-explanatory reports, which includes the Idaho General Fund revenue reports, food service, free and reduced lunch eligibility report, Head Start monthly program, student enrollment, and student suspension reports. Next on the agenda is awards and recognitions, which will be provided by Courtney Fisher.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Superintendent Howell, Ms. Johnson, and board members, and welcome student representatives. Tonight, we will recognize several individuals who, through their actions, support and embody our district's mission to think more, learn more, and be more together. So first up, we have our first cake awards of the year. I love when we get to celebrate our learners of the month. And so first up, we have our elementary school learner of the month. Would Miss Olivia Chatterton and her teacher, Mrs. Melanie Blad, join me at the podium? And you can have this right here so everybody can see you. Perfect. So School District 25 believes that a safe, supportive, caring, and respectful environment is critical to student learning. The School District 25 Education Foundation, in partnership with Johnson Family McDonald's, supports the Learner of the Month Award to recognize one elementary and one secondary learner from our district from October through May. The Cake Award celebrates positive character, attitude, kindness, and encouragement toward others, and nominations are submitted by a teacher who has observed the nominee's behavior and are approved by the school's principal. You will receive tonight, in addition to being recognized here, a gift card for you and your teacher, and a $50 donation to purchase books in your name, also courtesy of Johnson Family McDonald's. So in her nomination letter, Mrs. Blad wrote about Olivia, who is a second grader at Tyhee Elementary School. Olivia is a very kind and sweet student. She has a positive attitude and is always willing to help. 2 weeks into school, we received a new student in our class. I sat her by Olivia and asked Olivia to please help her. She rose to the challenge. Olivia always made sure that the new student had out all of the correct supplies, turned to the correct page, and kept up with the lesson. Olivia never hesitated to show the new student around and included her at recess time. She is a great example of being a leader in our school and classroom. So Olivia, I have this certificate for you. Also, I'm going to come around here so I can shake your hand. There you go. And then if you will say hello, and we want to congratulate you for the example you set.
Keep up that good work, okay?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was so kind of you. Thank you.
Very kind. That's awesome. Thank you. Next up, we have our secondary school learner of the month. So would Miss Alyssa Kurtner please join me at the podium along with Mr. Stainer, who nominated her. Thank you so much for being here tonight. So Ms. Kurtner is in the 10th grade at Pocatello High School, and in his nomination letter, Mr. Stainer wrote, "I have been teaching Alyssa since the beginning of the trimester. She and her family recently moved from Czech. This has been a difficult transition for her in both language barriers and missing her friends and family in Czechoslovakia. It is my belief that her cheerful personality and rigorous mentality have aided in her ability to succeed in school this year so far. Alyssa has sought out extra help from me as her English teacher to help her understand the English language, English terms, and grammar concepts that have been lost in translation. Her cheerful personality has allowed her to make new friends, particularly in her English class, and these friends also help her understand concepts taught in class. One instance in particular happened yesterday. Alyssa received permission from another teacher to come and see me so I could help her formulate ideas for her midterm narrative essay. She spent an hour with me coming up with ideas, and afterwards she also finished her daily vocabulary for the week. Her integrity to be the best student she can be is something all students should work toward. I look forward to having her in class each day because of her bright and cheerful personality. She makes everyone around her smile, never says a crude word, and she works hard each day despite struggling with moving across the world to living in a new culture. She is a real-life example of what President John F. Kennedy said: "We choose to go to the moon in this generation and do other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." Alyssa does hard things and she succeeds in them. She and students like her remind me each day why I wanted to become a teacher, to help those who need help and to teach those who need to be taught, also to learn how to be a better human from those around me. So thank you so much for being a new learner and being such a wonderful example.
Good job.
Yeah, your signature. Here you go.
Good job. Thanks.
Nice to meet you. So happy you're here. Thank you for the nomination.
And then we ask that you step outside for a photo as well on your way out. Perfect. Okay, next up, we have our Employee of the Month, or PIES Award, which recognizes our employees who positively influence educational success. This award is for employees who go above and beyond in their effort. PIES Award recipients receive a $50 gift card from Lookout Credit Union, and the nominee also receives a gift card courtesy of Lookout Credit Union, who is our educational partner for this award. So tonight, we have Mr. Kyle Jenks here from Highland High School with, and I believe, are you the student who wrote the letter about him? Okay, so I'm going to read about your letter, if that's okay. So Ms. Tricia Harvilla nominated Mr. Jenks, and she was unable to be here with us tonight due to a family emergency. So in her nomination letter, Ms. Harvilla wrote, "While measuring impact can be challenging, one student's heartfelt experience this trimester speaks volumes about Mr. Jenks. She made a compelling case for a schedule change, eager to join his English 12B class next trimester. With tears streaming down her face, she expressed, 'He teaches me like I'm smart. He uses big words, and I understand what he's saying.' Her genuine plea was truly inspiring. Recognizing the importance of expressing gratitude for those who profoundly influence our lives, I encouraged her to put her thoughts and feelings into writing. Below is the powerful letter she brought me to share about Mr. Jenks, a testament to the positive impact he has made." She wrote, Obviously, we all make bad decisions in our lives. It helps you grow into a better person, the person you are meant to become. Now, a couple years ago, ended up making a choice that still affects me today and probably will for the rest of my life. Some of the harder things I still deal with, which is brain fog, which makes it hard to remember things, be present in the moment, and in some cases feel anything. However, I've come to terms with that and have learned ways to deal with it. Since school takes up a big portion of my life, I do struggle sometimes. Ever since I met Mr. Jenks, I have found hope in myself.
Sorry, guys.
Are you sure you're good? Okay. Okay, that's why I asked if it was okay, so I'm sorry, okay? Ever since I met Mr. Jenks, I have found hope in myself. The way he teaches really caught my attention because it could be some of the harder text to understand, like on one of the famous plays by Shakespeare, and he could explain it in a way that just makes sense. He catches your attention immediately, and the next thing you know, you're on a topic that probably wouldn't have thought about on a deeper level. He pushes you and really makes you use your brain. I have even talked to other teachers about his class, and they all agree with me. My daughter had you too, and I agree. Even though it is not even midterms, I had to go in and transfer to his English 12B class because he has truly changed my life. I feel smart now and that I can accomplish anything because he has shown me that I can do those hard things. When I'm in his class, I don't feel disoriented, and that is a big deal to me because I have been. Mr. Jenks was meant to be a teacher, especially to my peers who are young adults that are vulnerable. He has the words and knowledge that will lead them in the right direction. Mr. Jenks needs to be appreciated for what he does because he is changing lives and doesn't even know it. Thank you so much for sharing that personal story with us and letting me read it here. I appreciate it so much, and congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Mr. Jenks, thank you for positively influencing educational success in our district.
Thank you.
Good job, Mr. Jenks.
Thank you so much. And you for all my kids too.
Holy cow. Good job.
And now Courtney is going to present our, right?
We have student reps first.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We are now going to have our student representatives from Century and Highland. You can come right back where you were.
The podium, either one.
Yeah, wherever you feel comfortable.
So, some announcements from Highland. We just got new bleachers for our gym, and we'll be able to host our own winter events this school year, including basketball. Highland Key Club just held a blood drive at Highland last week and are now raising money for UNICEF. Highland Student Leadership, clubs, athletics, and activities are hosting a community trunk or treat for the elementary-aged kids in our community. It is October 23rd from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. in front of Highland High School. We recently hosted state golf at the Highland Golf Course, and girls took 5th at state and boys took 6th. Girls were recognized as 6A state academic champions with an average 3.961 GPA. Highland's first drama performance starts this week, Thursday, October 17th, and plays through Tuesday the 22nd at 6:30 p.m. with a matinee on Saturday at 1 p.m. They are performing The Alibis, a murder mystery. Highland Speech and Debate were recognized. Highland has earned the leading chapter award in the Idaho Mountain River District. Only the top school in accumulated members and degrees per district earns this designation each year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Century's academics, we have the pre-SATs coming up on October 23rd. We have, the boys soccer won academic championships.
Great.
The mic doesn't like me. We have 5 semifinalists for the National Merit Scholarship with 1 honorable mention. Our athletics, our girls golf placed 6th. We have volleyball, which was very successful, and it had a lot of student engagement. We have Powder Puff coming up soon. The girls seem to be very excited about that. Volleyball is doing really well, same with swim, and our boys soccer is going to districts.
Our activities, we had the first day party
Our seniors attended the college fair yesterday. Part of our student council went to Irving Middle School and presented about the dangers of fentanyl. Our fall play, An Evening with Edgar Allan Poe, starts next Wednesday, I believe, running from the 24th through to the 28th, starting at 7. Our choir invitational is this Saturday at 7 o'clock, and our marching band also has a competition this Saturday at around 2.
Great, thank you. And you already introduced yourself to us, but since this is a new board meeting, will you just say your names one more time?
I'm Breland Rebake and Highland High School representative.
Thank you.
I'm Emma Hitchcock, a Century representative.
I'm Alyssa Young, also a Century representative.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Now, Courtney Fisher will provide our communications and community relations.
I don't know if that one's working so well. Give it a try. Something's going on. There's a lot of feedback going with that one.
Okay, this one better?
Give it a go.
Give it a go? Okay.
I think so.
Okay, in your addendum for this evening's meeting is the Communications and Community Relations Report. The first couple of pages are self-explanatory. I did want to draw your attention to our top performing posts. If you're not following our Facebook page, we post lots of great stories from our schools and from around the district. So I like to show you our top performing posts. This month, it was Crystal Lockyer, who is the new principal at Tendoy, had a Pie the Principal feature, so that was really popular. People love to see our principals getting on that level with their learners, and Crystal's she's awesome. And then we had Mayor for a Day from Principal for a Day from Tendoy Elementary, and that one was also very popular. So I just shared the statistics for those. And then I also wanted to give you an update on our levy information that's out and about. Hopefully, as you go out and about in the community, you are seeing this in the places that you frequent. We have given more than 40 presentations. By the end of this week, we will be nearing 50 levy presentations for staff and community organizations. This information is on Infinite Campus. When you log in to that user group, you see it first thing. There's a link to the video, and then there's also a link to the website with further information. Each one of these, I want to assure you, has the tax impact to legal disclosure on them, as we are obligated to do, being very careful that that's on everything. So we have the facts and information sheet, which is distributed, all the community presentations. It's also online for people to download. And then we have lots of digital media. So we have indoor digital advertising through a new company. It used to be Affinity. It is now Mowat IT. And those ads began last week, and they will vary from early walk-in voting, which is now ongoing through through November 1st. So that will run till October 30th. And then Vote Tuesday will run for a couple of days, and then Vote today. So we want to change up the messaging a little bit so it gets new eyes on it, so that it's not just the same thing and reminds people to get out and vote. Same thing with some of our screens. You'll see them around. And then we also have the levy renewal video. So again, that was posted to Infinite Campus. It has, since we posted it to Infinite Campus, it's also on social media, also on our website. But ever since I put it on Infinite Campus, the viewership has gone up pretty dramatically. So that will stay up in that space. So that just on page 9, it shows you what that Infinite Campus user messaging looks like. This is my daughter's page. I blacked out her information just so you could see where those messages pop up with links directly to that information. So we're trying to get this out. We've done 2 media releases. We have, I think, 10 more presentations to go. Well, we're going to be close to 60 by the time by the time we're done. Have new groups that we're getting in front of all the time. I'm presenting with AARP tomorrow, which is a new audience for us this year. So I feel like every year we're getting in front of more and more people, which is the goal. The attendance campaign is going strong, and so I just wanted to share a little bit of information with you about that. So we're trying to just push this out in a variety of ways so that it's in the schools, people see it, it's going to be in your board brief for this month, and then we're doing newsletter blurbs. So we're trying to provide created content for our administrators so they can just plug and play that into their newsletters, and then we're sending a consistent message across the district with our attendance messaging. We've done a different blurb for every month that's themed for that month. So this month, starting in November, it will be Thankful for Every Day Together, and those newsletter content have actionable tips for parents because we know sometimes struggles to get up early enough and have a healthy breakfast. And so just some actionable fun things that parents can look for that hopefully help their kids look forward to school. So that's attendance. And then I hope that you have had a chance to see the new food service trucks out and about. It's pretty impressive. Even though I helped with this program and getting these on, when I saw it for the first time, I literally came out of my shoes in the parking lot. Dr. Howell was like right behind me. So it's a fun way to rebrand our food services and get that messaging on the trucks that aligns better with our overall district brand. It's something I've wanted to do since I came on board. And so finally, with food services help and creativity and ideas, we were able to work together collaboratively to make that happen.
It
So,
really looks really good.
Thank you so much.
I haven't seen it.
I put some pictures in your PDF for you on page 12 that show you that branding in action. And then, of course, I've just had the headlines of interest and then all of the media links for you to peruse when you get a chance. Just lots of stuff from around the district, around the local and state education that you might want to be aware of. So with that, it concludes my report. Yeah, there's always lots going
Yes,
on.
it's really good.
Oh,
Thank-
and then one more thing I put in your addendum is the media release for the enrollment attendance areas, which explains the why. And so I did want to get that in front of you, like we talked about at the work session before that gets released. If you have any changes you want to make to this, please let me know at your earliest convenience. I'm hoping to get this out just as soon as possible. So that is in draft form for your review. And if I could release it as early as tomorrow with your blessing, that would be awesome. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess just reply to that, I guess, for all of us. Is that, okay. Next, we will have curriculum and instruction, technology and school safety and athletics. We'll start with the enrollment and district attendance areas and committee update, which will be presented by AJ Watson and Sue Pettit.
I think it's out, yeah.
This one. Good evening.
Who
You
blame
wanna-
AJ?
You can blame me if it's not working. Do you want to go first and give
Sure, I
update
can
for
tell
middle
you.
school?
So our middle school committee met last night, same time as their elementary school. We went over the same data that we presented to you guys and had some discussion about whether middle school boundaries needed to be looked at or not. I'd say 80% said, yeah, we probably should look at those. But they want to see what the elementary schools do so they can see if they can continue that feeder program the best we can. We're going to meet on Monday this next week for a very short amount of time because we want to let the elementary group have a week to get ahead, and then we'll be meeting again with some more data. And just so you know, the middle school, we had 4 admin, and because the committee was smaller, I said, why don't we get 2 parents from each school? And so we have actually 2 parents from each school and then 2 teachers and myself. So we have a committee of 15, and it seems to be working well. Everybody gave really good input last night, and looking forward to continuing on with it. So.
And so to choose the parent representatives, it was like a lottery, right?
Mhm.
Everybody who asked to be on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just to make
Yep,
sure.
we
that-
literally put it in the computer with a random draw and went, and the computer went,
That's great.
and
That's great.
So.
And so I was just curious about the results of that committee. Were the parents and I guess everybody, well, I know the elementary tries to kind of focus on neighborhood, like logistically. And is that kind of what they were in support of, to kind of do the feeder schools from the elementaries into a more of a neighborhood approach instead of, I think it's a cross-section of the city more right now, right? Is it kind of
It kind of,
like really wide
It
and
looked-
long?
it kind of looks like, I'm just gonna draw it. It's really crappy drawing, but you can take a guess at it. So
But I'm thinking.
Irving's
less-
like this whole side on the
Okay.
left side of Garrett Way. And then Hawthorne goes here and then across the top. And Alameda goes up to 2.5 Mile Road and then across. And Franklin's over here. So what they'd like to do is see where the elementary schools land. And we have a couple, we talked a little bit about, we could adjust this boundary, we could adjust that boundary, and see how many kids live in that area. But they really wanted to wait and see if we adjust a boundary like 1 road down or 2 roads down, and the elementaries is actually 3 rows down.
That maybe
We
they want to
can go
match
ahead and
it
do that
out.
one too, so we can, yeah. So eventually, my gut is that the committees are gonna meet together, and we're gonna be working together to do that, so.
Thank you.
So are you saying it kind of puts you guys on hold for a while? to-
Yes, no, they requested some information that we didn't have with us last night, so they wanted a few more pieces of data, and I'm gathering those up this week, and then, so we're gonna meet really fast on next Monday, and then the following Monday, after AJ's committee meets and gets some more meat done, then we'll meet again and have a more robust conversation.
Okay.
As for the elementary, we also met on Monday night. We have 13 members, 7 parents, and then 6 district staff members made up of administrators and teachers. We discussed the purpose and goal, went through a lot of the same data that we shared with you, a lot of the 7-year data and the enrollment information. And we also talked about plans moving forward and next steps and what additional resources and information they would like in order for us, they're ready to start the work. So next Monday, we are getting started. We have our GIS system that allows us to start manipulating some of the enrollment areas and just looking at that. So the committee was like, we would like that individual to be in attendance, and let's get started looking at some of these enrollment areas. As we know, the middle school is also looking to us for some information as well. So starting next week, we have 5 Monday meetings scheduled, with this week being our first meeting. But moving forward, they're hoping, and the plan is to have recommendations and options to you at the November board meeting. Is what the tentative plan is. We said we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks, but planning to meet weekly for an hour and a half and get to work. So the meeting went well. They were engaged, had really good questions. They're asking for additional data and information to help make informed decisions. And everyone that was in the committee and on the committee was involved and really interested in doing the work. So I think they have a good foundation for the purpose and the reason as to why, and now we're ready to get started.
And just so, my committee wanted the GIS person also. However, one of my committee members is actually a GIS specialist. And so I was asking Jonathan if we have access to the layers that she's using. I have somebody on my committee that can actually run the GIS, so, which is kind of
Oh.
lucky.
Yeah.
And I
So-
thought the district already had that, but that's great that, I guess, to interpret it.
To be able to manipulate the layers and draw new boundaries, you need some knowledge on that. So,
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've got a question.
Yeah.
Where are we sitting on the high school?
Okay, so we talked a little bit last time about high school and that this is not the best time to start high school boundaries because we couldn't finish it before high school registration starts this year. So if we're going to look at doing boundaries for high school, I would suggest we wait until spring at the earliest so that it's finished by November, December at the very latest of next year for the following year. Just, we don't have time between now and they start registering for classes the 1st of February.
So the GIS data will include the high school data as well?
Yes,
Right?
it'll all be ready to go for, when we.
And everybody has received the letters, right? The input for that. We've gotten several letters in regards to
For
high
high school?
school.
Mhm.
I think we've all, you've also received that. Okay, and then I guess we can maybe talk about it at our work session, maybe?
Okay, yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
Okay, to get some,
Are we talking about
I
like
guess-
a timeline for high school? Is that what you want me to add to November?
what do we, I guess we just need the GIS data? Would we be able to have that by November? So we'd probably have it by our work session, right?
We'd have it, but we can't move boundaries
Right.
in time for registration this year.
Right.
So
We'd just be looking at that information.
I would suggest, and you can advise, I'm just gonna make some advice. I would wait till spring to do this. Changing high school boundaries is the most controversial you can possibly get. And it would be better if we finish the middle school and elementary school boundaries and have them done and out of the way before you start discussing high school boundaries. And then, like I said, you start it in the spring to finish it in the fall for the following year, and that gives everybody a whole year to plan for if they want to put in transfers or if they want it. There's a whole nother level of outside to do with high school boundaries between athletics and activities and classes and everything else, so.
Yeah, I would hope that there would be a way to address an immediate concern, but yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my concern is just that I feel like we're sending the message that we care more about elementary and middle schools and they're more important. Is there a way to like, something Courtney could say that explains
Coming,
that,
it's
like,
just,
yeah,
yep.
it's in the works, it's just,
Timing.
there's not, yeah.
Yep.
Is there a way to do that?
Yes, so Courtney's got a press release ready to go out as soon as we finish this, and I can absolutely have her add something to that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because, okay, we do.
Okay.
Okay, and we can, I guess, talk about it also at our November meeting.
Perfect.
Okay, are there any other questions that anybody has?
That's all I have on that.
AJ is next.
I am
With
next.
the PCCS fiscal audit and programmatic management letter.
Yeah, so at the, Michael Mendive at the work session last week presented the financial information and also the school improvement plan and achievement data for the Pocatello Community Charter School. And I think you were able to see that and ask him a couple questions in regards to that. We just annually put together a letter letting them know that they are in good standing based on their financial and improvement plan information as far as our monitoring goes. So that letter is in there and for your approval tonight for action. Thank you.
And you, and it says the Advantage Plus sponsorship agreement will be in our next meeting? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so now Tanya will present,
Hey,
I
we
was
need
gonna
to
say
approve that.
The motion.
oh, we
for
do
the
need
letter.
to approve it. Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the PCCS fiscal audit and programmatic management letter as presented. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the PCCS fiscal audit and programmatic management letter.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion passed. So now we'll move on to Tanya Wilkes with the winter athletic schedules and travel requests.
So have in front of you there several pages of Century First and Highland and Pokey cheerleading, debate, speech, girls and boys basketball and wrestling. We've started to add a girls wrestling opportunities. There's definitely been a high demand for girls wrestling, so now they're having their own tournaments and so forth, which is really
Is that new this year?
It's not new, but we're
And-
finally built up the program.
Okay.
We actually are supporting that with giving them another assistant coach as
Well,
well.
I know they've been girls wrestling, but I know at first they were wrestling with the guys,
Yes,
and I knew a lot of guys that were very uncomfortable with that,
both ways, yes.
both ways.
Directions.
But
yes.
it's all the way to state, the girls' program.
Mhm.
Yes,
It's
the,
great.
last year's the first, or 2 years ago was the first state girls
Okay.
wrestling. And not always can we find, programs that are robust to have a full team. You might have a match and so forth, but now we're starting to find that. So it's building up. And we're able to go to some tournaments.
It's great.
Do you have any questions?
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve the winter athletic schedules inclusive of the travel as presented. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the winter athletic schedule as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passed. The next topic is human resources. An update presented by Brenda Miner, who will provide the To Know Me update.
I spelled it out for
Good
Is
evening,
that what
Board.
I'm supposed to say?
Right, it's a little tricky of a name, right? And it's a little different, so I'd ask how much you want to know about it, so I'm going to give you the basics, and you can sure tell me if there's more that you want to know. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a brief history. That in July, we heard from the State Board, and they said that they were going to do away with the program that we have been using called Frontline. We still use Frontline for special education and for our hiring process, but the professional development part of it has been free through the state of Idaho. So they went out for bid, and they came back with this company, and it's To Know Me with a 2GNO.me, kind of a little different of a name. And so we didn't get that until July. And so they told us that we would be starting to use that this fall. So I asked if I could be a part of that implementation team with the state, just because, to be honest with you, I was kind of nervous because the other program was very succinct and it had its fault. Everybody knows that there's flaws in any program, but I wanted to be a part of this, and we needed to do this because it's free, right? You could pay to continue with Frontline, but the state would no longer continue to pay for it. So we got on board, and we're the largest school district that is doing this program right now. West Ada has one school that is going to pilot it, and then, so I've been in on all the meetings and all the trainings with the state board and the person who runs this company. And so there really are some good benefits to it. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of a work in progress. The whole program wasn't really built when they purchased it for the state of Idaho. So there's been a lot of kind of little bumps in the road as far as getting it out to our administration and those things. So I'm super fortunate that I've been able to be on kind of this beginning with it so that the teachers can have some ideas on how they can do this. The really great part of this program, and there's just a couple that I'll just hit on real quick, is the self-reflection. This program comes along with having every teacher do a self-reflection survey before they start to write their individual learning plan for themselves each year, which is part of Idaho Code. So they do a self-reflection, and it gives them results on where they see their strengths and where their weaknesses are, so that it helps them decide on how to make a goal for themselves that is really a meaningful goal and not just something that they have to kind of check the box. And so that's probably my very favorite part of this program, is that it really does give people some individual opportunities. The other one is that it's all in one place. So they have the ability to go in after they find their areas. It gives them a learning plan, which gives them a whole bunch of different options. And I've made some guidelines where they can go in and check certain, maybe they're an article, maybe they're a video, those types of things that focus on the area that they chose. And so once they complete those, that becomes part of their artifacts that are also part of the state guidelines. So it's all kind of a one-stop ability for the teacher to get the professional development they need there to build their IPLP goal. And so the parts that are still being built that will hopefully be rolled out in November is the overall format that gives for the summative evaluation that we turn into the state at the end of the year. But like I say, I really do believe that it's more personalized than we've seen before, and it has a lot of potential. And the best part about it is the owner of this company is very eager to help and willing to make the changes as they come through. I mean, I'm able to email him personally, and he'll have an answer back for a teacher if they can't get in within, a couple hours. So it's been a really nice in that respect. So it's a work in progress, but I do think it's going to be more individualized for our teachers.
So tell me what this is in relation to the Danielson.
So, great question. So the Danielson model, that's where they start to take their self-reflection. So they choose out of the 4 components, the 4 domains of Danielson, and then that's when they do their self-reflection survey. So it's really great.
Still based on that.
Absolutely,
Okay.
because that is also in Idaho code. And so they still follow Danielson. The principals, when they do their evaluations on this system, they're still using the Danielson model also. It has the rubrics built in. They have a drop-down menu where they can go down and they can say, it's a high school counselor, and then they have the rubric for that. Or they have the rubric for a teacher. And they do, just like we've done before, they have 2 observations and then a summative evaluation. And so the other part of this that has a lot of potential is they can build different learning groups. For example, if we wanted to just see all the data from our first-year teachers, we could look at it from a first-year teacher standpoint. Maybe we want to look at it from our seasoned English teachers. At a district level, we'd be able to pull that and see where we wanted to maybe do some PD. So the potential is great, and the ability to, as this program, becomes more user-friendly, and we'll have a lot of great data that can help drive our PD.
And so it's all based on the Danielson?
Correct.
But all this strength, and you're talking about you can pull data, so like if there is a weakness that you're seeing consistently throughout a grade level, or maybe a first-year teacher, or any cross-section, any way you can direct PD toward that need.
Absolutely.
Well, that's really
That's what's coming. I mean, this year we're starting to just get our feet wet by, getting into it. But another option is if let's say someone is at multiple schools, right? We can add multiple principals, and they can all go in and they can do their own evaluations, so that it's not just isolated to one principal who's their home school to do their summative evaluation. They're able to go in and look at all of the data and be able to give an overall picture of that teacher.
Oh, that's really cool.
Any other questions? And please know that if you want to come in and just get the basics or see some of the program in action, I'd be more than happy to meet with you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next topic on the agenda is business operations, which will be presented by Jonathan Balls. He'll report on Highland rebuild update, PV Tech update, permissions to bid on SIP-related projects.
Evening, board members. Thank you for your time this evening. I'm going to stand here because I will be quick. So just a few updates from a few of the projects. Again, with Highland rebuild, the power reroute through the D-Wing Hall is complete. Again, if you remember, the power supplying Upper B went through the D-Wing Hall that we needed to demo. And so the Highland was without power on Saturday, and that got all done. Idaho Power hooked us back up, and that has allowed us to progress more aggressively with our with the demo. If you'll notice, they've started on the south side, so the cafeteria and half of the gym, concrete flooring is completely gone. They've smoothed that out, working their way to the north there. The weight room is completely scraped out. Now they're working on the locker room as well, getting in that in the basement level, all scraped out there. So they're making some good progress, and we anticipate that they'll keep working right along. The good thing is they can still work through a little bit of maybe our fall, early winter weather. Because those are some things that they can still do, and then we'll pick right up in the spring and make sure everything is good with compaction and just hit the ground running come the spring.
So we can safely say that the first stage of the rebuild is complete, because it was that power reroute to allow for that next stage of the demolition.
Yep. I would call it a step rather than a stage, but yes, the first step of that is complete.
It's small, but it's
it's huge.
But
right.
it is still really big.
It is. It is.
Mentally, to know that one step
Correct. One step is
In
complete.
a state.
Yes, yep.
Completed.
So
Yep,
are they gonna do away with that weight room that was downstairs?
they will. They're gonna fill it back
Because
up.
They're gonna fill
structurally
it
it
by-
can't.
Correct. Structurally, they're working with the engineers because they want to, it's all, what, at the end, it has to be able to support the building the new building that's going on top of it. And so they're working with the structural engineer to see how much of that basement wall they need to take down. And so, but they don't, if they could leave some of it, they'd like to, because again, that's a good solid,
Sure.
solid base there. And so and that should be figured out here shortly, so.
So that went underneath the burnt part? The part that burned down, that weight room was underneath that? I thought it was over farther underneath.
It is,
Under
no,
the-
no, it is underneath.
Under the girls' locker
Okay.
room
Yeah,
and
that was
kind of
burnt
boys,
there, correct.
a little bit,
Okay.
not really the gym, just offices, right?
Correct, yeah, there were the offices, but yeah, it definitely got damaged, a lot of
Right.
water.
So will any of the digging for the foundation be done this fall, or will that all be?
No, that'll be done in the spring.
Okay.
The ultimate goal would they call it prepare the pad. Basically, put in we'll need to fill in the basement level, compact it, and just get it ready so that we can start, putting the foundations.
And just tear out everything that's there, right?
Yeah, correct.
So
Everything.
stubbing
including-
out, is that what you said, stubbing
Uh,
out? Is that what you said, Jim? Stubbing out everything, is that what?
Just tear everything out.
Oh, tear
including-
everything.
Including the 2 classrooms that were still standing, right?
Correct. There will be some, the 2 classrooms, you shouldn't see the VOAG shop, all that will be done. Again, they might leave a little bit closer to the school, because that might have to be completed a little bit when there's not students on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure safety is obviously a paramount to us there. So, the architect is going, I anticipate we should have some good interior, exterior drawings for the board on the November work session or November board meeting, special meeting and so forth. We got word that they should have our exterior renderings, first look that first week in November.
Oh, cool.
And so we anticipate we should be able to kind of, show the board a lot of good, cool drawings there in November. So the architect is continuing to progress in that way. PV Tech, again, we're just kind of doing the finishing touches, which seems to take some of the longest. The exterior doors are in. We've added some power inside of the shop walls, and those are now covered as well. So we're just progressing, doing the little things. Door hardware is next. A few window treatments, or not treatments. Some windows inside the building next to the classrooms. Just those little transom windows there need to be installed. And then we'll just keep progressing there.
Cool.
Okay. And then lastly, is just it's our annual request to essentially kick off, if you will, our capital improvement process, our plan for the, actually, it's crazy, but it's for the 25-26 school year. So we asked the board that, again, it's a blanket list of anything that we might be able to or might need to bid for. We ask permission that we be able to do that. Of course, this will come through the capital improvement committee to the board. And so our first committee meeting is actually Thursday. And so we will start talking about kind of some bigger items of needs and wants and kind of the process, and then drill down into the specific projects and needs, and we'll bring the board, we'll have 3 meetings with the committee, and then bring that to the board in December.
All right, and that's this Thursday?
It is.
And that's before our board retreat, right? I need to look at the date.
I don't know if we,
Oh, we haven't landed on a date.
right,
Okay.
I don't know.
Does that tie back
ready
to the
time.
chart you sent us that was like the red items, the yellow items? Do you know what I'm talking about?
could, I
Is it
don't.
the supplemental financial data, or,
It was like each building and then like evaluating the things in the building.
oh, the state requirement for the evaluation of the building?
It
Is
could
that
have
what-
been that. I'm sorry, I'm grasping, I should have sat down and thought,
I know there was
thought a
like,
little better.
it was like, the roof on this building and.
I think
Oh, yes,
Madam
yes,
Chair
yes,
is
yes.
correct. The one you and Brian
Correct, yes,
completed,
yes.
submit to the state.
So this
Yes, I
ties
do
back
remember.
to that.
Correct. This is, this will be, yes, what are we gonna do this coming year?
'Kay.
Exactly. And it kind of, yeah, and I can show you that. There, again, there's basically all of these items get reviewed every year by our maintenance department, and they make recommendations of what needs to be updated, what needs to be changed, or what's something that can wait for one more year, and so forth. So yes, that's what this whole
So,
part is.
so the improvement plan is based on maintenance requests,
Yep.
principal requests,
Yep.
and then also just your information as far as replacement schedule.
Correct, and then we throw in some major projects. Obviously, Highland will be a major project. We won't have as many this coming year as we've finished mostly all of the outdoor facilities, which we're thankful that we're able to do. There'll be some lighting replacements. There'll be some boiler replacements. We heard, I met with our Brian Glenn and the other maintenance team there today. Their Indian Hills, I believe, is the one that's scheduled to get a boiler upgrade, and so we'll look and see how much that will cost, see if we can make sure we do this, kind of the routine maintenance, so that way everything will be up and going there, so.
Okay. And Jim and Heather are on that committee, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay.
I would entertain a motion to grant permission to bid the 2025-2026 SIP-related projects as presented. Is there a motion?
I move that we grant permission to bid the various projects outlined in the memorandum for the 2025-2026 school year.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? The only thing I guess I would say with discussion, I just thought of this, is that anything that is over
75.
75,000 comes to the board separately, right? Okay. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passed. Next on the agenda is the superintendent's report, which will be presented by Douglas Howell. He will report on board calendar and the draft agenda for the board's work session with legislators.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as you can see, the balance of this week after tonight's meeting, you're clear. And other than a SIP meeting, it sounds like, for some of you. And then we'll pick it up on October 23rd. You'll notice the time frame there. We've had a little bit of activity in our schools, and so we've had a little bit of time between meetings. So it's a 4 to 8 scheduled time frame, and hopefully your schedules will allow you to be here, or at least overlap, or perhaps be by phone so that we can get all those covered that evening.
That first week of December.
Okay, great.
The 23rd.
23rd.
Next Wednesday,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Away from the bar.
I totally, okay.
You're
Okay.
I
Next
saw the
up.
December 2nd. so
Oh, yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and then there will be one, 2
Okay.
weeks later, of course, just
Okay.
kind of penciled
I
in.
was jumping in.
And then next up will be key communicators on Wednesday, October 30th. Courtney sent out an invite today to the key communicators group. And if you'd like to attend, please let Renee know. We will be on site at PV Tech and talk a little bit, basically a review of tonight, some of the things, supplemental levy, PV Tech, Highland update, and boundaries or attendance zones. So those are the 4 items that we have tentatively scheduled for key communicators. And then the 6th, 7th, and 8th will be our time at the ISBA convention in Boise. I believe we also have an exterior design meeting, Mr. Balls,
Monday.
the 4th? Okay. And so it's that week as well. That's Madam Chair and Vice Chair, Ms. Clark. And then also voting day on the 5th or anytime before the 1st. Does that sound about right? Correct. Make sure you get that done. And then board work session on November 12th. Did I miss something? Nope, I don't think so. Student discipline, again, just a placeholder there on the 13th, regular board meeting 19th. Thanksgiving break, no school for that week, and that pretty much takes us through the end of November.
Thank you.
You bet. Next up is our draft agenda for the annual meeting that we have with our legislative delegation. And you can see that we've set this up as successes and then needs or concerns. And so this is based a little bit on previous years, and we're fortunate that we were able to take some of those wants and make them, or needs, and make them a success. And in fact, we dropped off the insurance because we were able to get that accomplished, and so we celebrated that with them last year, but the district being on the state insurance plan was, again, in my time as director of HR and also in my time as superintendent, that actually came to fruition. So that's been one of the great things, which I'm sure Courtney reported on it in her community relations report, but our district for the second consecutive year was ranked #1 for large districts in teacher retention.
It's really huge, and it is due to the support of our community.
Yes.
I've tried to explain for that levy because that's what allows us to supplement that state pay.
Yes.
The allocation of just what the state allocates for or provides. And I've explained, I'm sorry I'm sorry to take over here for a second, but it's really important for people to understand that I've talked to board chairs in smaller districts, and they have a very difficult time with teacher retention. So they're constantly rehiring. It's very difficult to maintain continuous instruction because they're constantly,
Turnover.
getting new people, and because they leave as soon as they can find a job that's better pay.
Yes.
So that's just, I think, a really important thing to understand.
I think that's absolutely critical. So thank you, Madam Chair. Next up, so just looking through those and then the needs and concerns. We, of course, are concerned about private school funding and vouchers. The K-12 funding formula is being rewritten this year, or potentially by way of a recommendation from Superintendent Critchfield. And then with that is the increase to funding for our special education programs, which in the resolutions, Renee confirmed with Quinn Perry that as the board requested, that we would sign on our district to Cassia County. And so I think that's a go. And again, definitely something that we need in the future. So I'm glad that Superintendent Critchfield brought that back from last year and has incorporated it into her budget proposal for this year. And then the latitude for the CTE personnel funding, that actually ties to one of the board's resolutions, the one that our board submitted. And then that medical consent, universal parent consent form has been a little bit challenging and concerning. I know our board spent quite a bit of time with it based upon the recommendations of our legal counsel, Amy White. Tried to get everything pretty much covered in there, but the kitchen sink, so we had it. Just basically the way that it was perceived by law through our legal counsel. You may have seen a letter from Superintendent Critchfield, which endorsed the letter from the Attorney General Labrador.
I didn't see that. Can
Oh.
you send that to me?
Will you see if you can find that one, Renee?
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
I'll forward that to the board.
I was thinking that went out to,
Right.
through
I thought-
ISBA as well as to superintendents and
Yeah, if
business
you guys haven't
managers.
seen it, I'll
I
forward it.
yeah, I don't.
Okay,
I don't
we'll make
think
sure that you
I have
see
that.
it. So there's a little bit different take on the,
Oh, is that included? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Courtney said she included it in the media report, so you could find it there as well.
thank you, yeah. So his opinion in regard to how some districts implemented based upon the law that we received guidance from our council. So anyway, it's a little
And
bit,
so we can read that.
conflicting.
And then we can read both the advice from our council on that and the Attorney General.
so our parental consent is set up identical to what Amy White's suggestions were.
Okay,
Mhm.
but do we have any suggestions from her as to how the concerns about this, if any change?
Oh, she's not made any comment
Okay.
in regard to that. I think the hope or the desire is that they will flesh that out through the legislative session this
Mhm.
go-around and
And
try to
to-
tighten that up just a
To
little bit.
delineate what
Yeah.
constitutes counseling and what constitutes, what I
Yeah.
call it is solving a problem.
Sure, yeah.
You know, in a day-to-day, on a
Could be
day-to-day.
basic first aid needs versus,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, and maybe separate that, because ongoing counseling, is what I think the intent
Uh-huh.
was.
yes,
And I don't think that then it made it unclear.
I think so
Whether
too.
they can, give them a Band-Aid, okay.
And I think
So-
this is the perfect time for us to talk to our legislators about that and see what they're thinking and what they've heard maybe coming forward.
Okay, and can we talk about, I guess I don't know if we have enough time to talk about it at our retreat or our next board work session. Our board work session would come before
Uh-huh, it will.
this, so we could maybe talk about maybe specific, after we all read that letter from the Attorney General, then maybe we can come prepared with ideas
Sure.
that we would present to.
And I think this is, it shows December 2nd, but didn't we move that to the 9th?
Yes,
Okay, so it'll be December
Oh.
9th,
yeah.
And what day of the week is that?
Monday.
Oh, okay, that's the one I replied to.
Okay, I
Right?
believe so, because I think originally when I created the calendar for this packet, it was Friday before, and then I had talked to Senator Ruckty on Monday, and then switched that date, so. we're
And it's
clear
Monday
for-
at 4:30?
Yes, Monday the 9th at 4:30.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's the one I think I replied to.
Okay, and that's it for my report tonight, Madam Chair.
Okay. I had one more question, but, this, I guess we can talk about this at the work session, because I had one other thing that I thought maybe we could talk to them about, and it just has to do with literacy funding. And so maybe we can talk about that. Do we
I
have?
think that was listed on the successes, but if you have like some needs that you want to address there.
It's a different concern.
So, yeah, I think that if anybody has any input on the agenda or things that you'd like to discuss with our legislators, just email me or Doug, and we can
Well, I
get
was
those
just
added or
thinking,
talk about next time.
Yeah, I was just thinking that we could add it to the work session.
Okay,
So then we kind of get everything together, so we know
okay.
if it's something we want to present, so we get input and
Okay.
everything before. I mean, obviously, we don't want to present something.
Yeah.
That hasn't been fully researched. Okay, well, that's,
Hey, do we have a time frame when we need to have this done? Can we talk about that now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
so we're doing a book study having to do with cell phone policy that we are kind of projecting to kind of come up with in the summer, right?
Yeah,
Prepared. and so
February would be the timeline to start moving forward with an
February's-
implementation for next
Okay,
fall.
so that then it would be ready for,
Uh-huh, right.
So maybe
Okay,
just plan to have these finished
so-
before February?
but wouldn't we need to have the book study before February? Maybe in January?
December, January, so that we have
Yeah.
enough time to.
Maybe
Provide
just
some
like
input
a
or
couple of,
thoughts or-
one or two special meetings to discuss? What do you think for this book study? I mean, normal book studies are longer than that, but I guess it's a matter of what.
Gentlemen, how do
Right.
you feel?
And it's only gonna be about this, it's not gonna be about, a
Well-
long meeting, like I'd say 45 minutes to an hour. like
So you're thinking
under-
about half the book for 2 meetings,
Should we do that?
or what? I'm amenable to anything because I'm familiar with this author. He's superb. I'm looking forward to
You'll be
reading
done
this.
by next week.
I'll be done by next week, too. So, and I guess we can also add our own research, and so, because it's really meant to be, I mean, not just only based on one thing, but, we can also do this, but then we've also got input from teachers. We've got input from administrators that we would look at. So would we want to include all of the information, as far as, everything that we've gotten and be prepared for maybe 1 or 2 meetings and just
So we
an
could
hour?
plan a first special meeting, like the first week of December, if that works. To just do
I'm okay with
a
that.
review of where we're at.
I'm okay
And then the
with that.
second, I guess,
Just have like a first half of the book meeting.
yeah.
And then, okay,
Okay. Okay.
that puts us.
And,
So, let's see how many chapters we have here.
and there's a PDF that goes with this, and maybe if anybody wants to have that printed off, could we have that printed off here? Because I think it's kind of long, but I'm not sure, I haven't printed it off yet. But I'm fine to print it home, but I
Oh,
just wondered
sure.
if
Yeah,
anybody
anything
else
that you need, we
wanted.
can
Yeah,
supply that
'cause
for you.
he has a PDF, because he refers to a lot of studies, and it might be nice to have that. It's a shortened version, I think, kind of hitting highlights of everything that's in the book, kind of an outline. So I thought it would be a good place to take notes. Anyway, just so everybody else knows that that's available, and if you want it to be printed. Okay, are there any other questions?
So you're saying it's abbreviated, it's not 369 pages, or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's-
closer to 300, right?
Well, yeah, the text,
PDF.
you know, the actual text is
No, I don't.
208, 288.
So for our
283.
December meeting, we can plan on just being through chapter 6 and we all, is that
Good
kosher?
with that.
Okay.
Do the best you can.
And if you want to just go through the PDF, that's kind of what I was hinting at. If you want the PDF, because it's kind of a succinct kind of a outline of the book. So that's kind of what I was trying to get at. Anyway,
Awesome.
summary. Yeah, I think that's what he's referred to in the book so far, and that's what I'm imagining it will be. Anyway, if there are no other questions, that concludes this meeting. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I hereby move that the board adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?